Hey guys, so it's here bringing you another video. Now welcome to what is a timed launch with Riot as a league partner of a brand new champion, and it is Rell, the Iron Maiden. So this is the final champion of 2020, and I believe it's the support tank, or tank support, that Riot has spoken about, which is the final slot of this year. And yeah, we're going to go over her abilities and all that good stuff, and I will say, as a kind of, exciting thing, we're going to be doing a Riot Point giveaway with this video, so if you want to get involved, just be a subscriber, like the video, and comment down below what you think of the champion, and that will get you entered to the Riot Point giveaway. So let's just kind of show you guys first what she looks like. Obviously, the thumbnail of the video gives it away a little bit, but there you go. This is Rell, the Iron Maiden, the new tank support, and she is a mounted character. So we'll see how the mount kind of interacts with her. Obviously, does it have a separate health bar like Skarl does with Kled? We all have a look. But honestly, first impression, she looks really cool. She kind of has a Noxus vibe to her, I'd say. I don't know her story or anything. But yeah, it looks pretty damn cool. So that is her. Let's get into it though. And the way that we're going to do it is I'll bring up the ability that we go over. I'll be quiet for a couple seconds, give you guys the chance to hear what it sounds like. Then I'll mute that audio so it doesn't go over me explaining what the ability does. And thankfully this time, Riot's giving me full HD clips, so it can actually cover the whole screen. So here is the passive, which is Break the Mold. So, Break the Mold is Rell attacks very slowly, but temporarily steals a portion of the target's armor and magic resist to deal bonus damage based on the amount stolen. Additionally, Rell can siphon resistances from multiple different foes to grow extremely tanky. So as you can see in this clip, she's attacking an Elise and a LeBlanc, and she's taking both resistances from both of those champions at the same time, thus giving herself those resistances that she's stolen, kind of like Trundle Ultimate. But also, she'll be dealing an increased amount of damage based on how much resistances she's obviously stolen. So if you steal resistances from a tank, that may give you bigger damage because you've stolen more resistances. So that is the passive, Break the Mold. And obviously, worth noting, having a passive that makes you attack slow probably does mean that, yes, she is most likely a support. Also, you can see in our ability previews here, it is in bot lane. Generally, Riot will do an ability preview of where the champion belongs. So this champion belongs in bot lane, thus they're showing it in bot lane. All right, so that is the passive. Now we're going to get into the Q, which is called Shattering Strike. And here we go. So, Shattering Strike is, as you can probably see, a bit of a lance thrust, but it is Rell stabs forward her lance, breaking any shields and damaging all enemies hit. In brackets, damage decreases after the first target hit. If Rell has an ally bound with E, which obviously is an ability later, she and that ally recover health that each champion also hit by this Q. So again, it breaks shields. So if you're against a Janna in lane and she's shielding, it will break that shield instantly. And then also, which later she obviously has an ability that she puts on her AD carry, because again, she's a support. And then hitting targets with this Q is actually a heal. Of more targets you hit, the more it heals. So if you hit one AD carry in your opposition, it'll do a bit of healing. If you hit 5 people in a team fight, maybe a lot of healing. So that is Q. It looks pretty cool. And I would say I really like the animation. It kind of gives like a magnetic feel to this champion, very metally and magnetic. So that's kind of nice. I like that a lot. And now we're going to be moving into her W. And there are 2 parts to the W, and it is called Ferromancy. Hopefully the W shows everything involved, because there is actually quite a lot to explain. So here we go. Okay, so those are the 2 parts of Ferromancy. So the first part is you only can cast part 1 when she is mounted, so on the horse, or whatever you want to call it. Rell leaps into the sky and transforms her mount into heavy armor, gaining a huge shield that lasts until destroyed or remounting. Upon landing, she knocks up enemies around her. She also can cast something to do with her E and her ultimate during the transformation. So it's not like she's frozen out of using other abilities. She can't use her Q while she's in mid-air transformation, but she can use her E and her ultimate, which obviously we'll go through later. Rell, during this time also, increased durability, but she has lower movement speed and a movement speed cap while in armored form. So even if you build a lot of movement speed items, you're still capped to how fast you can move. And after she's done this transformation, the second part is unlocked. And obviously the first part, by the way, is called Crash Down. Pheromancy Crash Down. The second part to Pheromancy is called Pheromancy Mount Up. So this part can only be cast while she's in the armoured form, naturally. And Rell rushes forward and transforms her armour back into a mount, gaining a burst of movement speed. And during her next attack, she charges to deal bonus damage and flip them over her shoulder. Jesus Christ. And yeah, Rell has increased movement speed while mounted, and after the transformation, she can then do the crash down version. So, in essence, the first bit, she jumps into the sky and knocks everybody up around her. She then gets tankier with a shield. And then the second part is when she is shielded, that we're seeing now, she jumps on somebody with her next basic auto attack and flips them a little bit over her shoulder. That's pretty strong. Like that actually seems like a pretty solid ability, and it's kind of nice. Like her mount already doesn't seem kind of like Kled, because Kled's one is more or less kind of like another health bar. This seems a bit more intertwined with her actual kit, which I quite like. But there is her W. Next up is her E, which is Attract and Repel. Here we go. So, Attract and Repel, as you can see, is her linking herself with somebody else. And this is where Riot is probably going, see, AD carry and support. She's a support because she's linking with somebody. So, Attract and Repel is Rell magnetically binds a piece of her armor to a targeted ally champion. So, in this case, it's the Ashe, granting them bonus armor and magic resist while nearby. Rell can recast the spell to break the bind and stun all enemies around and between her allies. So I'm guessing the two circles that you can see, anybody within these two circles, when she recasts it, gets stunned. Or, as you also can see, anyone in between them also gets stunned. That's very strong. Naturally, and imagine that in a team fight. That's a large amount of area that is going to be CC'd, and this champion already has a knock-up, and worth noting, we said earlier with her W, this can be cast while she's jumping in midair. So if you're jumping in midair, knock them up, then stun them straight after. That's a pretty nice combo. So there's that. I don't know if it does damage. Again, we don't see damage numbers here, so it might do damage, it might not. I'm gonna guess if it does damage, it's gonna be very minimal. But that is Attract and Repel. And then finally, everybody, her ultimate, and usually that's kind of like the thing of a champion's kit, is called Magnet Storm. So yeah, very magnetic is the champion, but here we go. Oh snap. That looks pretty strong. Okay, yeah. That's Magnet Storm, everybody. So it kind of looks like a better Skarner ultimate. And I will say, as I always give my opinions, honestly, is new champions have had a trend to basically be better versions of older champions. It's happened time and time again. So is this really a kind of similar thing to Skarner ult? Well, let's find out. Magnet Storm. Rell erupts in magnetic fury, yanking nearby enemies towards her. She then creates a gravitational field around her, pulling nearby enemies in for a few seconds. The field does not interrupt her enemies' other actions. So you could be channeling something here, and you can still be channeling it. Like, for example, this will not stop a Karthus ulting. He will just continue ulting, and you're dragging him along. So that's a bit different to Skarner Ultimate, obviously, because Skarner Ultimate is a suppression. This is not. But this also, you could be, again, in the middle of a team fight with all these stuns that Rell has, and you could 5-man drag the enemy team. But they can still do things. They can still attack. They can still use spells. It's not a silence. It's not an interrupt. They're just getting moved, basically. So again, it's strong, but it doesn't seem to be what I would say overpowered, because if it was a stun, if you could run into 5 people, stun them and drag them all, that would be overpowered. This is nothing. This is, well, it's not nothing, but you just drag the enemy team. So they can still flash out, for example. They could still jump out. If it's a Tristana, she may be able to jump out of this. So it's not impossible to jump out of or beat in that way. But yeah, that is Rell, everybody. First impressions of the champion. She looks really cool. Her model is quite big. Like, you can see her model actually, you know, is a significant size because obviously she's on quite a large mount. But she looks really cool to me. Hopefully you guys like it as well. And that is what we're going to do. Like, again, we don't know her damage numbers, but she is designed to be a support, so I don't imagine it's going to be high damage. She looks different, and I like that, because a lot of champions also sometimes look a little bit samey. And for other, you know, because, you know, we can't hide, but when Seraphine came out, it was like, oh, it's like Sona. Is this champion going to be compared to the other mounted champions, which is like Kled? Honestly, I don't think so. She seems pretty original to me, and that's kind of nice. You know, there are similarities with this champion and other champions, but she seems pretty original and unique. So I think that's really cool that Riot still, after 10, 11 years of their game, are still making kind of unique champions like this. But I'd be interested to test her. But remember, we're going to give away some Riot points, and all you're going to do is be a subscriber, like the video, and comment down below what you think of the champion. But that's going to be that. If you guys enjoyed, please do throw a like on the video anyway. And again, I will leave you finally with her splash art, which looks pretty cool. But yeah, that's going to be it. I'll see you guys next time. And, you know, we'll be definitely testing her on the PBE in the next couple days. Anyway, adios amigos. Goodbye.